There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, there we go. Live here for SiouxperConline. My name is Charlie Eccles, hosting the Empire Comic Press live panel. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey. Well, I'll let you guys introduce yourself, but we are here for SiouxperConline. This is our second of many live panels. We are here with the Empire Comic Press crew, here to talk a little bit about what they're doing and some of the work that they're doing, and kind of getting to know the gentlemen that are sitting in front of my computer right now. So, and if you have any questions for all of the guys here from Empire Comic Press, make sure to put it in the chat or send the questions so that we can ask that out here for you guys. But I'm going to give you guys a second to introduce yourselves. From my left to right, I've got John, Mikey, and Brian, but I'll let you guys kind of introduce yourselves as you would like.
I thought you were going first.
You're going first, John.
My name's John. I am the creator of Space Monkey Mafia. And Mikey?
I'm Mikey B. Martinez III, also known as the comic book genie in the dark corners of the custom comic book world. Used to be #1. Now I don't care for 2, 3, or 4 because it's about Empire Comic Press. I'm the artist for Robot Dance Club, issue 1 through 3, and all the fun stuff coming up. And then my boy Brian right here.
Hey, Charlie.
Hi, Brian. We know each other very well, but are you going to introduce yourself, my friend?
I will. So, Brian Brockmeyer, I'm the founder of Empire Comic Press with these gentlemen. I do some managing of the business, and then get to contribute here and there creatively when they'll have me. So it's a fun role for me, for sure. And then we've got Miles upstairs, who I heard creep in.
Oh my God!
That might have been the best introduction for somebody.
I've been there for 30 minutes. I actually was here the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm Miles Roush. I'm a writer on Robot Dance Club and our upcoming Wilbur Space Race comic. And also getting into some lettering now, lettering on Wilbur. So I'm learning that trade and just kind of doing whatever anyone asks of me as far as putting words to paper.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Well, let's you guys are a fairly young group of people as far as being within Empire here. Yeah, right.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Yes. I'm just here to tell everybody how handsome Mikey Martinez is for the rest of the day.
Really is.
It's a good day.
That's right. Tell me a little bit about how Empire Comic Press got started, where you gentlemen come from, and what it took to get into Empire Comic Press.
So for me, I reached out to Mikey and was like, hey, would you be interested in doing some artwork for me? And he said, absolutely. And was really very gracious with his time, and continues to be very gracious with his time and his talents. Miles was a friend of mine from work previously, and no
longer a friend.
No longer a friend.
And still work together, no longer a friend.
And knew he was a very talented writer, so I wanted to bring some extra talent on, and Miles came in the picture. And then John, of course, another buddy of mine, very talented writer as well, and just very impressed with these guys. So that was my role in this, is just reaching out and seeing if people would be interested, and then getting the kind of the business end of things going.
Very nice, very nice. What about for the rest of you guys? Let's hear. Feel free to speak up. I'm not going to call on you.
I guess I'm the other part of that coin that flipped. That, gosh, yeah. Now that we've talked about it a couple times, I'm meshing 5 different memories into one. So don't take anything I say from this point on as accurate. But I remember Brian's we had a conversation. We're like, yeah, we want to do something, and I told him I was looking for writers. I remember being at a point where I was like, I need writers. I need people who are legit. And Brian's like, oh, I got you. And these were the first 2 guys that came in the picture. And these are the only 2 guys, plus a third one we're missing right now, that I need for a lifetime. These are some of the best writers. Yeah, hands down, 1,000 miles around, maybe the globe. We'll see.
Very nice, very nice. John, Miles, what about you guys? How did you guys get involved?
I've known Mikey for a bit. He actually did some work for something for my wedding. I'm that big of a nerd. So, and then I knew him from SiouxperCon stuff. And then Brian said, hey, I'm looking for writers. Do you got some ideas? And I was like, I have a ton of ideas. And he's like, this is the artist. And I'm like, oh my God, I love him. So let's collaborate.
Yeah, we're no longer friends. We're lovers. So I'll make that perfectly clear.
And then Miles, I don't even know.
No.
Not even a little.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it was developing a friendship with Brian at work. We were on the same team and had a similar interest in this sort of, I kind of come to this whole world. I'm not a sort of lifelong comics like encyclopedia like John.
It's embarrassing.
These guys, comics is a huge part of their life. I didn't actually grow up with that, but I did grow up with where the comic culture came into television and movies. Because I remember watching Spider-Man and X-Men on TV as a kid and really getting into that kind of storytelling, that imagination. And I'm very much in the sort of geek nerd culture in general. But when Brian kind of approached me about writing comics, I have never written comics before. And I had done creative writing, short fiction, flash fiction, some novel length works. And I was like, I could hide from this because I don't have the experience in it, or I could just say yes without thinking too much about it and we see where it goes. And that was a good day for me. So I said yes. I was like, I'll figure it out. We'll figure out how to write a comic. And then he introduced me to Mikey and I was like, this guy is A+ talent. He goes a mile a minute. I don't understand most of what he's talking about.
Oh, I worked with Mikey. I get it.
He's referencing projects I've never heard of before. And just flashed on the screen. He's like, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. That's, bro, you don't even know where that's going to go, but we'll get to that. Like, I'm just here for the ride. This is great. Like, I love these guys, and we've been able to put together some really cool stuff, and I'm excited for every new twist and turn.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I've been about 2 years, 3 years at this point then?
We're looping 2.
2, yeah.
You guys are looping at
Like
2.
officially 2, I think.
Officially 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that's awesome, guys. I want to get into some of your guys' the processes and where you guys kind of started with because it all kind of came about with Robot Dance Club for you guys, correct?
It actually, we had some other stories in mind, but Robot Dance Club, in this basement, actually, we were sitting around and talking about these different ideas we had for books, and Mikey just starts talking about this Robot Dance Club, and Miles and Mikey are just shooting ideas back and forth as I'm drinking a beer, watching these two people interact for really the first time.
Yeah,
and
that was right. That was
the creative energy was insane, and I think I got 2 words in, so I feel pretty good. I got to contribute a little bit, but these guys were killing it.
You typed up notes.
So I did.
You had to where the doc.
Yep. So anyway, yeah, and that's really. So I think we were talking about a couple of different books that we're gonna bring down the line anyway. I think they're gonna happen. Just this one took precedent, and I couldn't tell you how impressed I was with how quickly these guys turned out the book. We did 3 months in a row. The first 3 issues were kicked out.
Yeah. We didn't keep up to our monthly, but we did at least for that.
Yep.
So
yeah, I mean, yeah, to really get it off the ground. So it was pretty incredible. That's really where that came from with Robot Dance Club. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, now that I think about it, actually, sorry to cut you off, bro. I think about, we actually had, like you said, we had a bunch of ideas, and we were seeing what Miles was maybe like gravitating to more. Mm-hmm. And then the Robot Dance Club was like almost right up his alley narrative wise. And it was just like, oh yeah, that's our peanut butter. We got peanut butter jelly sandwich. Let's go. That's right.
Well, and yet I will always be blown away at your artwork, Mikey. I mean, I've worked with you for stuff that has benefited SiouxperCon. Eventually, I'll bring it out because we still have a bunch of copies of the print that you made for us last year too. Because we made far too many of them, is what we found out. But you've done work for SiouxperCon and everything like that. But tell me a little bit about your background, Mikey, with the artwork and everything that you've done here. Tell me about where that started and your love for art.
Oh, okay. So everybody's an artist, but I'm an articulated visionary. So I have a special quality.
Stressing the articulated is what he's saying.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter the medium. I found this out at a young age. It's just something I see, and I have a crap time explaining it in words that these guys know. I'll go on for hours trying to explain something because I just don't think I don't articulate verb and the words right. But when it comes to drawing or showing something, I can do that. I can very easily. So it was at this point where I was like, you know what? I want to do stuff that's paying homage to the people that we love. And I want the writer to be just at equivalent to that quality, or where we're pushing our strengths and weaknesses, everything. And eventually we get a snowball. Eventually we're going to get a bigger snowball. So where it came from, given a lot of practice, a lot of F's in school for having too many doodles, and graffiti probably helped a little bit with the speed, getting it done so no one can see who did it. And then the comic book stuff, I think, is the best art. I think it's the best level of art that the world has right now. I think it is the top of, like, I think if Michelangelo and all of them, I think if they were right now, they'd be in comics. And that's why I think no matter what, it's a really important thing to also be an American and know that this USA.
Where's this going?
But how important this medium that we've been able to perfect in all these different ways and be able to share with the world, and how comics has grown in all these other avenues around the world. Now it's about bringing it back and bringing the fusion food with comics, and that's kind of our goal, And right now we're at small levels, but you can see in our work that, man, if you put this into Chinese or Japanese, this will translate. So, we got bigger ideas down the road.
That's awesome. Did you have any kind of formal training as far as an artist goes? You mentioned the graffiti and the doodling and everything like that, but anything in your background that you had formally by chance?
Yeah. Apologies for diverting your question.
Oh, you're fine.
Empire promo. So
I expected it. It's okay. I knew what I got into, guys. It's okay.
I've been fairly lucky. I would say that my biggest influence is my art teacher in high school, Mr. Live. Shout out to Live family. He was one of those guys where I could watch and learn. He didn't have to show me things, and that's carried on. So that is kind of probably high school art, and then actually my college background is in international business, so I don't have anything credit-wise. So my art credit was actually in music, so I didn't even take advantage when I was in college. So unfortunately, that's a big letdown for anybody out there that's going the school path. I say I support the school path and do what you need to do. God bless America.
There it is. All right, John and Miles here, and whoever would like to start here for you guys. What kind of brought you guys into the comic book world? What brought you guys to wanting to tell these stories?
So I similarly have college degrees in computer science and mathematics, so did not go to school for the thing that is truly my passion, which is writing. But like Mikey, been kind of a long time writer of different kinds, and actually in college did a lot of, I went to Dakota State University, which is a small college in Madison, South Dakota. And because it's small, if you are someone who has a lot of interest in a lot of different areas, you can kind of get the attention of people at different colleges, on campus, or different, artistic areas. So even though I was kind of more scholastically in a crowd that was a kind of geekier kind of person, I spent a lot of time in the theater department and writing plays and directing plays and acting. Did a lot of short film work, so more of that kind of that sort of dramatic storytelling, and as well as doing the narrative storytelling that I was writing as well with short stories and whatnot. And so when actually, like, bringing it back to comics, when Brian approached me and we talked about it, comics really as an art form, and this actually ties into kind of what Mikey was saying, like, it is narrative and dramatic at the same time. And so you really have to apply both kinds of writing styles to it, because as the writer, you're not responsible for the entire dramatic side of it, because that's where the art comes in. And even as far as the narrative side of it, a letterer would come in and they'll add their own artistic, approach to it as well. So you're kind of playing a part role in both sides of that. And that's kind of where it came. This collaboration on Robot Dance Club was almost like Mikey would have these crazy visuals in mind, and my role was almost more of a wrangler for his ideas, and like, how do we build a story around these visuals that we have?
God bless Miles, man. God bless.
And America.
And America.
And America.
And so, the storytelling almost puzzle to break for me was like, these are really cool visuals. How do you then make a sort of fulfilling story that speaks to people on that narrative and dramatic way? How do you make a character that has, a disco ball for a head? How do you bring humanity into a robot world and still make it feel like an authentic robot world, and tell that story that doesn't really involve humans, but you're gonna have humans reading it, and they have to be able to have something to relate to in that. So yeah, like, my influences have always been TV, movies, and books, and like those art forms all just crash into each other in the comics world. So I feel like even though I didn't grow up with comics, I didn't have that language necessarily. I spoke enough similar languages that I was able to dive in and find something really fulfilling in the work we're doing.
I like
Awesome.
that analogy too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking more of like, it was like Empire's been like an album. We've been like creating albums, and we all have different instruments that we play. Like even Brian was a crucial part in editing.
Even Brian.
Yeah.
Even
I don't
Brian.
want Brian to ever feel like he's on the side of anything, but his name is on that book for a reason. Y'all recognize.
I don't remember what it was for. I do want to chime in say one thing too. The way that Miles' background in the way that he creates these storyboards and creates the scripting is just perfect. And seeing Mikey and Miles work is incredible. I mean,
It's jazz, man.
yeah. I mean, he has this amazing script, and then it just translates right to the artwork, and it's awesome. So
That's awesome.
It is cool to see. It's I wouldn't call it an accident. I mean, obviously there was some thought behind asking the people that got involved, but at the same time, like, yeah, it was definitely happy that it turned out the way. Way better than I anticipated. I'll say that.
That's awesome.
Same on here, and I'm probably same for Miles too.
That's awesome. I'm glad you guys have that collaboration, and that, I mean, you need that chemistry. You really do. You need to have that chemistry with the people you're working with, and it's really cool that you guys are able to provide a medium because of that chemistry. So very, very cool. John, tell us a little bit about you and where your background is.
It's kind of carrying the theme on going to school for something that's not related to what we're doing now. Having an IT background, but still having that passion for creating. I don't want to show my age, but I've been a comic book fan for almost 40 years. So I don't know what that was.
Yes! The knowledge!
Apparently I'm some sort of comic book encyclopedia. So having that love for over 4 decades of these characters and trying to create my own and still have that passion for it. Short and sweet.
Very nice, very nice. Well, and I like texting John about wrestling action figures. So
Yeah, right.
that's him and I will like. Did you see this LJN? It's always fun. And round it out here, Brian. I for the most part know your background and everything that you've worked on and everything that you've done here. But what led you to wanting to start Empire Comic Press?
So I just was so impressed. Obviously, it was, for those of you who don't know, I started SiouxperConline many moons ago and brought in some fantastic people and got to hand it off. And Charlie's done a fantastic job. So kudos, Charlie. Doing awesome, man. And interacting with these amazing, talented people locally in particular. I mean, obviously the regional big names that we've been able to bring in over the years. But and I thought, God, it would be so cool to start highlighting some of these local folks and just show what Sioux Falls and this immediate area is made out of, and get some comic books into the world. It's one thing to be a lifelong fan. I've been reading comic books since I was very, very young. It's another thing to criticize them and have your favorites, but to put stuff out there is a whole different animal. And I think I personally got to the point where I wanted to start contributing instead of just consuming, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been blown away by the talent that we had locally and just needed to get it out there. I mean, that was really the driver for me. I obviously have an entrepreneurial spirit. I just like to be involved with things and get stuff out there. So that's the fulfillment I get, I think, the most from it. But yeah, the talent is amazing that we have locally, and we just started scratching the surface with it. So, Claire Meath, it's no secret, did a cover for us for the 3rd issue of Franklinstein that's coming out.
Nice.
And she's like...
She's the bomb.com.
She's like amazing.
I don't know what time Clara's interview is off the top of my head, but there is an interview with Clara and Bill a little bit later, either today or tomorrow, and that I think the world of Clara. Yeah. And just starting to get to branch out just a little bit and get some more talent in. But Mikey is, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, this is the most talented guy that I've ever met in my life, and he's the best. I've never seen someone work as fast as he does, as well as he does, and be able to do the different styles that he's able to do. Mm-hmm. And to reach out to him and say, hey, I would love to see this. And then he creates something that blows your mind. And then you give him any sort of feedback to tweak anything, and then he blows your mind again. Yep. So that is why I'm doing this. The writers are amazing. All the people I've had the pleasure of working with, the people that have supported the business, our partners have been great. A lot of local businesses buying ads or selling our books. And so it feels really small right now and really close knit to the community. And I like that about it. I think it's just going to keep blowing up from there. That's awesome. Well, you guys, you had your first question roll in while everybody was going through their spiel, but we have an anonymous attendee had said, what was the tipping point or moment when you jumped from more traditional career trajectory to a creative path? And do you still have regular jobs, or are you fully in the creative space?
I have a job.
I have a job.
I think I have a job.
Right, I've got multiple jobs, sadly.
Okay.
And I think all of us would love to do this full time. The industry right now, I wouldn't trust it to be able to do it full time yet. I think when things cool down again and things get back to normal, there's definitely the potential. But for me personally, this is just the first step in getting something started, and I love the job that I have currently. I'm actually one of those lucky people that really enjoys this work. I've got a really great team at work, so shout out to my team at work. I love you guys if you're watching. But yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this other than I have a job.
Well, I'll go somewhere with it. So I made the mistake, like in college, of deciding that because I had a couple people tell me I was a good writer, that one day I would just end up published. And so I'll go along my trajectory and concentrate on other things. And I didn't really work on my craft that much. I would kind of write here and there when ideas would pop up, and then got busy, you know, having a job and starting a family and all that. And then found myself, you know, coming into my 30s and realizing I hadn't done what I had a passion to do since I was young yet. I really hadn't been a writer like I wanted to be, and realized that kind of idea I had in my head that I would just wake up one day and be published, that doesn't happen. Even if you have a ton of talent, not saying that I do, but we fixate, I think, culturally a little bit on talent. That's like the big T, capital T talent. And Mikey is a capital T talent.
He really is.
But what really I think sets Mikey apart,
And he works hard.
well, that's just it. What set Mikey apart isn't his talent. It's that he does the work. He digs into it, right? And talent is great, but that gets you a quarter of the way to a finish line, right? You can be a great runner, but if you can't keep it up for an entire marathon, if you can't put in the work, it doesn't matter how fast your 400-meter dash is. And that's really what I came to learn later in life, was that it's the people who work hard at it, who hustle, they're the ones who get published. You know, there's a lot of really crappy published books out there. And that's not talent, that's hard work. And that's, you know, we all have jobs, but like, that's not stopping us from making these comics, right? We're hustling after hours, weekends, evenings, putting in the time when we can and being flexible with that. And it's like, you just kind of work on that process and make that your life, and just go, you know, maybe one day this will replace it, but until then, this is what I do.
I would hop on that point and say that Miles is exactly right. It's probably not a point, but a series of points where you're sacrificing a bunch of stuff: time with family, money, time doing normal people stuff. You know, like that's one of those things. It's like, what it is if you know how to juggle, you're learning how to bring on another ball, another couple balls, and try and keep those juggling. And that's pretty much, and the art goes, it's probably not a moment about being creative. Maybe it's a moment of accepting that this, for a lifetime, this is a process, and it really is a craft, and a craft needs to be honed and appreciated. And so the more I'd say, it's super fun, these awesome moments we get with you know, sharing with everybody. But the real stuff I really love is the hard nights where we're talking and we're figuring something out that we're going to be proud of in 10 years. And those moments are, to me, 100 times, 1,000 times more valuable than the awesome fan moments that we definitely appreciate. But I think when you get there, whoever's asking, you'll understand that point maybe a little clearer. Awful with words.
That's
I'll
awesome.
let Mikey's artwork speak for itself. It's hard to see, but this spread is what we have on our social media right now, and on our website and some other spots you can see it. But it's a spread of the dance club, and I remember having conversations with Mikey about color palette and then this artistic style that he used in this spread. And this is my favorite spread that I've seen him use so far. But it's interesting when you challenge somebody like a Mikey or a Miles, and they just, again, they blow you out of the water. But they do the research and they work hard to get there. And I think that's the most important piece is working hard to get where you need to be, because Mikey could have just cranked out something he was familiar with and it wouldn't have turned out as cool as that did.
No.
And
That's awesome.
I'm glad he's been stretching his limits since day one. Miles, I know it has.
We all
I
have,
know that
really.
John
We
has.
all have. We've gone through ups and downs, and we've been able to bring each other up. And yeah, I love these dudes.
So John's written how many scripts for Space Monkey now? 5 or 6?
Just get ready. This dude is about to blow y'all's mind with the amount of content this dude has and we want to get out. Just watch. Like, I don't want to say anything, but you know, we'll have all the Eisners and then we'll say thank you. We'll go again. Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, Jill, I've got 10 now. You still got 9?
Shout out to Jill. We love you,
We
Jill.
love you, Jill.
And then 1 Grammy for some reason is what he'll
We're in the music now, so we get a Grammy, maybe an Emmy.
Then John shooting for that EGOT. That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
I wish Zeke could be here to talk a little bit about himself too. He's got a really cool background with his video production stuff that he does, and his stuff translates really well too. And Frankenstein's coming out. I'm very excited about that.
And plus, the only reason we're talking about how handsome Mikey is because Zeke is handsome.
Yeah, Zeke's not.
Yeah, Zeke is our Keanu Reeves of Empire. Yeah, you cannot love that gentleman. He is amazing.
Yep.
That's amazing,
Yeah.
you guys.
Also, someone else too that's stretches limits. He's got a really cool core group of writers behind him too, with Frankenstein, and seeing the stuff that they're producing and the feedback they've taken and coming back with and collaborating with. It's really incredible. But again, it's hard work, and it's a series of events, to summarize what everyone's saying. And there's a lot of flexibility, a lot of grace. I think the thing that makes this group work, and if you get in a group of people, is having grace. We're all going through some stuff, and we call it kind of the Empire curse right now.
Hey, we're rolling sevens on the on the crap table, but we're gonna get to the lucky table. Wait, and then we're gonna be rolling perfect sevens here. You watch.
But yeah, if you find the right group of people and just support each other, and that's really what this group has done, and it's been fantastic. If somebody drops the ball, someone picks it up. I don't think we've ever gotten a real argument as a group. We've always been very collaborative and understanding.
Well, Mikey and I had a thing about an Apple Pen once, but that's
because we're brothers, okay? We got brotherly love, okay? And we know that when we go in the ring, we both walk out. So it's all good.
I was going to say, one of my favorite parts about last year was coming to the Empire table and seeing John and Mikey just banter with one another. That was one of my highlights last year, like from a personal end, because I love seeing people just having fun, but you guys are just like on a different level. It was so much fun.
We're all brothers. We're like a Ninja Turtle group that just keeps on growing, or Thundercats. We're the Enterprise crew. We're all of that. We're literally all of that. We all have our like special little quirks and quirks and specialities, and it's, like I said, we're, whatever comes, we got each other's back, literally.
That's awesome. So talk to me a little bit about the process of getting to Robot Dance Club and the first issue that came out, and then everything that you guys have been doing since, but getting that first thing out, guys. Tell me a little bit about that.
That was last year, or 2019 last year, right?
Yeah.
End of 2018.
So
issue 2, we could get issue 2 this time last year.
Well, at SiouxperCon we dropped issue 1, right?
Yeah, and then November 2, December 3.
Yeah. So it started with that kind of first meeting here in Brian's basement. We all kind of brought some ideas of stories we'd like to tell, and one of Mikey's was what became Robot Dance Club, and there were some, but he just had a collection of interesting ideas, and for whatever reason, for me at least, this idea of a karaoke robot that somehow exists in the future in a world of robots, this kind of ridiculously like human-centric activity, but yet he's in a world that's dominated by robots. I thought that was an interesting take on things, and it was an interesting visual. And then we started then kind of talking out some aspects of the world. I think I just started with a story, right? I don't remember us talking plot points necessarily. It was more like world building,
right?
Motifs, theme, that kind of thing. That's where our discussion was. I went off and just kind of started writing in a sort of screenplay format, and did some reading of different comic scripts. I think you guys sent me some to look at, and went to the library and checking out some books on like how to write a graphic novel, and going online and kind of like really trying to immerse myself in that world. Like, how do people do this? What are their techniques? What even does, what's Mikey expecting me to give to him? What's that file look like? What's that format going to be? Which Mikey's always like, whatever, bro. Like, hey, I'm cool, man. Whatever you want to say.
He literally does that. Whatever, bro.
And it's like, that does not help me.
I know he does. Like, I know
did
he
that
does.
today too. That's why I mentioned it, because I did that like twice today, this morning, I think. So that's my bad.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. You keep going, Miles.
So,
I feel like whenever I talk to Mikey, he's just like, don't worry, man, I got you.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly how it is.
like, well, I can help you get me if you tell me where to go. Then we can both get there together. So yeah, I just started kind of writing a script, developing some characters. We would have these like FaceTime meetings, these Facebook Messenger
Countless.
video
I don't
calls.
even know. I can't even tell you how many meetings we've had. It's an ongoing meeting.
All the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's a non-stop meeting. Really.
It's exactly like the Super Board or SuperCon board chat. It's all the time.
And so, and we
I
would
get it.
Yeah. We would talk out kind of mythology and like story arcs, and then we kind of started to come up with a sort of structure of these are characters whose stories we want to tell. We think, it might be this number of issues. So we started kind of digging in on what's issue 1 look like. That's going to be Hollow's story. As we produced that script and went through, it came out long. It was kind of a long script, and then Mikey took it around, got some feedback on people from people in the area, and we decided at one point to divide it into then 3 parts. So took that kind of first major issue, which we've now kind of bound together, and actually make it into 3 issues. And that helped us hit that sort of first 3-month rhythm, because we're able to kind of just go back and now take the first chunk, the first third. What do we need to adjust this to make it a complete story in its own right? Obviously it's a serialized storytelling, so it doesn't need to end the story, but it needs to end in a way that feels fulfilling. Then what do we need to do with episode 2, episode 3? Do they still work together as a group, as a trio when we bind them back together? Do they work on their own? Do they work for the whole story? Those kind of story direction things. But and then there was, that's Mikey putting digital pen to paper and drawing it out, and then sharing screenshots and
Creating this guy.
creating that guy, creating all kinds of then like teaser art as we were coming to certain deadlines and milestones, and then throwing that back in, and so then you would do the pencils, you do that step of it, and then share that with us as it were.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did we have pencils already out for everything before I went to ink and color? I don't even remember. I remember I have some pages that I know are like blue pencils or something, maybe.
Right. I feel like most of what I saw was inked already.
Yeah, technical wise, behind the scenes for the artist's sake, like if you're looking for information regarding how that was made, I'm sorry to tell you, man, it was all over the place. But it was done with the respect and homage to Fiona Staples, the Saga artist, and researching how she did Saga and how she was able to like assess problems, bypass certain maybe like long length drawings, and kind of just go for storytelling right digitally. So go right in to your colors, everything, not really having to piece it out like you would a traditional comic book where you get those pencils, editor comes back, then we redo those pencils, then we go to inks, and then we get colors, or someone's doing color while the inks. So there's like a million ways to do it, but on this one it was kind of like I was kind of had like multiple instruments. So I had like a drum in front of me, and then like so I was able to play guitar and beat the drum, and then we kind of lucked out with a lot of the cover stuff. The covers, not too much time needed on those, and they still came out pleasantly surprising. So again, it's something that I'm gonna be thankful in 10 to 20 years, and and it has nothing to do with I'm a part of it, but it really has to do with us 3 collabing on it, because there was a lot of roads to go down to, maybe is what I'm thinking, and we really navigated our path pretty well, I would say, for our first time group project. I think we, excuse my language again, I'm very freaking proud of it.
We can drop one because of the PG-13.
The editing process too was
I need
awesome.
a beep button. Somebody
With the way we did it worked out really well, where Mikey would come back with some artwork and we were getting this completed story, and you're seeing it visually, and then it's, you can't see this because it's too far away, but if you have the first issue and you take a look, there's so many details in there that really came from conversations that we had when we were going through the conceptualizing stage, but coming back and being like, okay, we really want a Hollow to see the world like in a Terminator like, you know, style or these
Right.
overlays, and he's able to focus and zoom in, and you're able to see all the different metrics going on. And then like there's a page that was like, these umbrellas are kind of like a transporter in Star Trek, and they can transport people to different locations, you know. So breaking it down and adding more artwork to that to really show how that's working. Mikey was able to come in and do a fantastic job, learn the effect, put it in, and it took him a couple hours. I don't know how long it took you.
They say, "Can you do this?" I said, "I got you."
Yep, exactly what happened.
I knew you did. I knew you did. You didn't have to tell us.
That's our new Empire shirts.
I got you. GOTCHU. I got you. Mikey Martinez quoted at the bottom.
And then on the back it says, "I appreciate you."
That's right. Probably. So how many issues are out of Robot Dance Club at this point?
Sadly, we came to a sad halt 2020. But
Yep.
in the wave of everything going on, we've still been able to get some really interesting stuff out. Our Wilbur comic book, that's our space race, is literally around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Frankenstein, you'll be hearing more about that. That's already ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then our Space Monkey Mafia issue 1 is already in the works. So that's going to be right around the corner as well. So just stay tuned. We got a bunch of stuff that's going to be right up everybody's alley. And then to answer you on Robot Dance Club, issue 4 has already been penciled out. Issue 5 and 6 are already written or in the works. So that'll be coming right around this corner this holiday as well. Awesome.
And that was going to be where I wanted to transition. You know, we've kind of focused on the beginnings of you guys, but you obviously have a lot of irons in the fire here at this point. We got Frankenstein, we've got Wilbur, Space Monkey Mafia. Give me your elevator pitch on each one of them. I want to hear all about each one of those, you guys.
I don't think it's fair to do the Frankenstein one.
I want Zeke to be.
Yeah, Zeke.
Zeke.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll
That's
give
fine.
you just a kind of an overview elevator pitch myself. I guess I'm going to do it. Kind of. Not really. I'll just say this. So you think Revolutionary War, and how do the Americans defeat the British? And it involves Ben Franklin doing some crazy experimentation, and you know, I think our teasers that we put out, but it's a zombie comic book at its core, and it's the alt history stuff where we go back and we get to play with history a little bit, and the artwork is fantastic. Mikey did an amazing job.
We're proud of this book. And when you said I think you'll understand where we come from. We're very proud of this.
Yep, it's line art, black and white interiors. So a lot of this is homage to all the different zombie books in the past, and you know, the horror movies where they're black and white, grayscaled.
Give it a little bit of that noir feel.
Rest in peace, Bernie Wrightson. It's a little homage to him as well.
Yep. And we got some fantastic writing in it. It'll blow your mind when you read it. That's really what hooked me, and I immediately said, well, okay, cool title, first of all, but secondly, the writing is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a group of guys that did that, and they've done a fantastic job. So that's all I'll say about Frankenstein for now.
We'll have some podcasts available through the Empire media outlets here soon, so we'll share those with you, Charlie. All that.
Awesome. We'd love to share it, and I love talking with you guys. I mean, I feel like Miles is the only one that I haven't met personally, and if we have, I don't recall. But like I talked to the other three of you guys quite a bit. So I mean, just a chance to talk as a group has been awesome. I keep hearing Space Monkey Mafia, and I want to hear a little bit more from John. So
let's go.
I know, John. We got to hear from you. So let's talk about it.
Space Monkey Mafia, a ragtag group of space pirates. The bulk of them happen to be higher primates, and it's that space vibe that you see a lot of in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
You know, there's some Star Trek in there, some Star Wars, all of that stuff we grew up with. Firefly definitely. Mikey, what else you got?
So we're going on a cosmic adventure where you're not is gonna know what's around the freaking corner. See, I
So it's a
caught
day with
myself.
Mikey Martinez.
Hey, I caught myself. Hey, God bless America. And you're not gonna know what's around the corner. So it's gonna be one of those already. The way John thinks. Miles is an amazing narrator. Zeke is an amazing narrator, storyteller. John is on another level. He's completely on another level. I'd say he's on a different Mount Everest, and we're gonna do whatever we can to keep him from going to Marvel or DC or some bull crap like that. Because now he's ours.
PG-13.
But yes,
I will admit to having creativity overflowing. Remember SiouxperCon last year talking with you about a wrestling comic. And
I've been thinking about it.
I still want to do that.
Do you?
So,
okay, I'm in.
yeah, stand by. Yeah, you're gonna be on that other podcast because we got so much stuff in the works, and I remember we have actually stuff in the hard drive we got on that. So
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we should quickly remind everybody that even though we are like this, like we seem like it's just us, we have a lot of people that are like affiliated and are doing work with us that we haven't announced yet, and one of them Brian should go into right now.
So we have Andy Grody helping us out with one of John's stories, and we'll be talking about we'll be getting it out soon. It's definitely it's going to be kind of a teaser for our horror anthology that we have coming out.
It's definitely a spooky story. I don't know if we even want to give a title away, but it's a spooky story, and it definitely, if you know Andy's style, his style was perfect for it. As I was going through it, I'm like, dude, we got to get Andy to draw this.
I got like chills with you guys saying that. Like, I love Andy's stuff. I'm so excited for you guys to be working with him. Keep going. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt him.
Skinny Idiot Studios.
Yep, Andy Grody. So yeah, very, very excited to have him on board doing some stuff with us. And that, again, it's going to be a horror anthology we'll release later, but that's going to be kind of our first teaser for it. And I think we're going to get out to the world sooner than later, so you guys can see that first. And it's fantastic. The artwork is great. His style is amazing, and it's a fun book. And we were just doing that last splash page, the last panel.
Yeah,
and,
you just sent that to me. This week.
I actually picked up the pencils and inks from was it On's house? I think it was?
He sent us the pages in the mail, or no, he dropped them off at his aunt's house, and Brian had to go pick it up.
This woman was terrified because she has no idea who I am. No, she was really cool, actually. Very nice lady. I think his mom was there too, so I got to meet them both, and it was cool. But so I was looking at his artwork and just like amazed. It's cool. It's really cool. I'm very excited to have him on board with that. That's another project coming out here shortly. And then I do want to mention Kat Jackson, who did the inks for the Wilbur cover,
and Jason Folkarts.
And then
nice.
Nicely, and I'll let Miles talk a little bit more about Wilbur. But yeah, Jason Folkarts did the cover. Jason did the ad work and stuff for Wilbur back when Gigglebees was still running and a thing, way back in the day. And Jason was very excited to be able to collaborate with us and do a really cool cover for our first Wilbur Space Race comic book. That actually stemmed from a silly idea I had with just having a wall drug thing and him being in space. And it was just a joke. And Miles took that and wrote an entire comic book around it, which is pretty incredible. So Jason did the cover for us. Kat Jackson's a very talented local artist, did the inks for us on that. And then Mikey did the interior works and a couple of the teaser stuff that we've done, and it's fantastic. So Miles, I'll let you talk a little bit more about Wilbur.
So Wilbur Space Race is Wilbur's first adventure with Empire Comics. He's obviously a pizza delivering robotic coyote. I didn't need to say that, of course.
No, we have people who are international watching some of this stuff now.
Sure.
We have people from France and Mexico who
It's
don't have the local connection to Wilbur like we do.
I mean, it's a tale as old as time, right? Robotic-based pizza delivering coyote on a tricycle, accidentally ends up in space and discovers what can you do with pizza in space, and conquers that last frontier for us. So it's I tried in the writing of it. I didn't grow up in Sioux Falls, so I come to Wilbur too as kind of an outsider, and so kind of had to pick up from the locals my only experience at Gigglebees with Wilbur was as an adult with a child of my own, and going, really? This is all right. And it was the tail end of Gigglebees, and he was looking worse for the wear. And I was like, is this rust on my pizza? What is going on? But picking up, there's a lot of love and affection for Wilbur in the area, in the community. And I wanted to pick up on that and also dig into kind of some of the vibes I think Wilbur can give off, a sort of Looney Tunes, Animaniacs kind of style of just nonsense, and being kind of playing with different narrative styles in the way of a little bit of breaking the fourth wall, winking a little bit, doing kinds of ridiculous wordplay stuff. Like Robot Dance Club, maybe this sounds ridiculous, is like my serious comic, and Wilbur is where it's just fun and crazy. I take the mythology of Robot Dance Club really seriously and try to make that world make a lot of sense. And with Wilbur, it's like, we can just have fun and put out things that maybe don't all add up when you get to the end, but you're gonna have a fun ride. And it's been kind of a blast to work on.
That's amazing. Well, and locally, I'm excited for Wilbur. Like, this is going to be awesome. It's the first year of many that I don't get to see Wilbur. So I'm glad that he's coming back to us in comic book form, guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. Well, we'll wrap this up here for you guys, but you guys have a lot of irons in the fire. I'm really excited for everything that Empire Comic Press. Where can everybody find you?
If you go to empirecomic.press, that's our website. empirecomic.press. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on the old Twitter. People still use Twitter? It's backwards. I'm kidding.
It's not backwards, guys. You're fine.
We have a Kickstarter coming out, so we will be on a Kickstarter. Is that a social media platform? Anyway, so we have a Kickstarter coming out really soon, and that's going to offer some amazing stuff. A lot of exclusives. We have some covers in there that you won't be able to get. We have I'll spoil it now, the Wilbur Pizza Crate, which is going to be a pizza box full of Wilbur goodies, including the comic books and the teaser that we did for SuperCon last year, which was really fun. We got to raise some money for the Back to the Future crew when they were here, for the Michael J. Fox Foundation, selling those. And yeah, so that's coming out here, and that's another platform you can see us at. We're on YouTube now. Mikey's been doing some live videos. Nice. We're gonna be hitting these podcasts / video things here shortly, pretty regularly too. Kind of made it a point to make sure we're doing that at least starting monthly, and then we'll go from there. So
cool.
We're excited to get out there again. We're in 9 shops locally. So if you're out and about downtown or in Sioux Falls, chances are you'll probably see one of our comics sitting out somewhere. So and we'll just keep expanding out from there. Internationally, we have a store up now. You can buy our comic books on our website. For those of you from France.
And Mexico.
Just France. In Africa.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour. That's what you're looking for.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you, Charlie. That was a mouthful there. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being a part of SuperConline. For those of you guys who don't know, Brian is the one of the founders of SuperCon, and now one of the founders of Empire Comic Press. And so I was very excited to sit down and talk with you guys today. We will be back with more live content. You guys will be able to watch this again later today, but we have the South Dakota Ghostbusters coming up, the Sioux Falls Nerf Herders still today, and then some more live panels tomorrow. Make sure to keep checking everything out. Make a donation so you can get a print sent to you and get your name into all of the drawings that we're going to be doing here at the end of this. But thanks again, Empire Comic Press, and we will see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for your support. We love you. Love you, Mom. Love you, sister. Love you, kids. Love you, everybody.